All right, so there you saw another two-player game that Mickey lost at. So evidently the streak of me not being able to beat Jeb in a card game, and unless it's his favorite card game, continues. Anyway.
I actually thought Mickey was going to win that one just because there were like 3 turns where I had cards in my hand that were too expensive to play. I was like, oh crap. And you kept, when you did damage, you kept getting rid of my 0s and 1s.
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
Yeah, so I have to agree with Jeb. I thought I had a really good plan, and if you listen to me talk at the end of the episode, I tossed the card for my plan, paying for something, and then I noticed on Jeb's turn, and I was like, well, too late now. I ended up getting another card a little bit later on. It was a little bit too late to make a difference, but it did surprise him at the end, and hopefully we played that very last that little portion correctly. But if we didn't, I'm sure somebody will pipe up. So anyways, as I probably stated before, this was a Kickstarter for me. I can't even tell you right now what intrigued me about it. Probably just the fact is that it was self-contained. Both Jeb and I are much more into card games now that are self-contained rather than collectible ones, just because not because we don't like them. We both played them for a while and very, very much enjoyed them and made great friendships. It's just it's hard to keep up with, and the self-contained stuff is just, you know, with what we do now, it just fits better.
Yeah, especially when there's no place nearby that supports things that we like either. That's another huge thing.
Right, so the only, the game that got us together was Pokemon, that my son was playing, and he got into it after being done with Yu-Gi-Oh! And you would just, you know, once my kid got old enough to not want me around playing, we went into board games.
Well, it also didn't help that Pokemon was also starting to charge adults to
for
play.
a long time, if you didn't know, they, all their tournaments were free to play in, so that made a pretty huge difference to when you're, you know, barely average going in just to have fun, and then you're popping $30 to get hammered, and it's like, okay, I'll play board games and
spend the money on that.
Yeah, something else. So anyhow, I'm pretty sure that's why I kickstarted it. It looked fun. Again, the self-contained thing, and you know, theme I like. I think they did an excellent job, at least on PvP. It's so straightforward. It plays so quick. It's a lot of fun. Every single time Jeb and I have tried to play it so far, Jeb's won every single one, but he can't believe how little he has. It's like I've hit him for over half of his, at least half or over what he had left in my last turn. Like this close every time. Not going to make a difference because it's not going to get back for him to draw, but it's, you know, one turn earlier, if I could ever pull that off, I might have a chance.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. If I had 7 cards and you did 8 damage, wouldn't I lose there? Because I couldn't discard the 8?
As far as I know.
Okay. So, yeah, if you had overkill...
Because it says when you have to draw a card, you'd have to draw it to discard. That's how it's worded. So if you... And again, if you watch that last sequence... The best that we could tell, the rules are not complicated, but there's not much rules, because there's not a lot of mechanics in the game. So, there is an order, which, you know, if you watched any before the review, you prepare, and then you draw, then you move the war track, and then you take an extra turn. Deploy.
Extra turn. Yeah.
Extra turn, then end your turn. The way that it seems worded is once your turn starts, you can start playing cards. You just have to do the things in order. So, I prepared. I used the window of time to play a card. Jeb could have made a reaction. I don't think he had anything to stop those types of playing. But it was and I played a damage card. However, if that's not correct, and I really was supposed to draw first, I would have lost earlier, and Jeb wouldn't have lost 6 cards. But pretty sure it's right. We haven't seen anything.
I feel like it's right.
But let us know if you guys know for sure. if we didn't play that correctly, because it would have been pretty cool if, like Jeb said, I could have hit that for that one extra and made him lose right when I was about to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's been kind of close like that. I like I said, I like it. It's one of the least complicated things I think we've had to learn. There's a whole lot of terms, but they're right on that,
Mm-hmm.
the little cheat sheet for your faction, and I haven't read anything that makes me scratch my head yet. It's like, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah, it's just like that one thing we talked about at the very beginning of the game where that actually employed the
hierarchy
of the abilities. And aside from that, everything else has been like super simple to resolve. So.
Yep. So, and there is a FAQ. Most of the FAQ.
It looks like it's longer than the rulebook.
Well, but so this is literally the PvP.
Oh, okay,
One page, and then chain of command. That's it, and a glossary errata. So there's not a lot, and then the rest are just questions on the other modes. So the campaign and the solo, and I'm sure that it's a lot of it on just how does the boss react to things. I'm guessing.
That would make
I didn't.
sense.
Yeah, that would make sense to me too. So, yeah, I think I did I had a pretty good purchase here. I don't know how many other people I'm going to be able to teach it to. I mean, Jeb's always like, yeah, I'll play that. So that's not a problem. Now, can I get my son to play? I don't know. But I think he'd like it.
He would.
Yeah, I do. I think because he likes where he loves trying new things where he can make combos and crush me. Just gets very irritated if I actually win something.
Yep.
I can win one time out of 100, and it still pisses him off.
Yeah, unlike me, where every time you win at the most crucial point, I
win so rarely. There's been one or two times where, like, inside I've been pretty pissed. Yeah. I don't like losing. Yeah.
He's been on some tirades.
So anyway.
Anywho, I give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it.
Watch Starcadia Quest. See who wins that.
Watch every other video on our channel. Except Netrunner.
It's old school.
Yeah.
I can't even brag about that. And is anybody even playing it anymore?
Right.
Anyhow, yeah. So I give it 2 thumbs up for me. I thought it was in this. It's not even gigantic either.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. Like, I did not have to commit much time to learning it and playing it. It's literally, I read through the rule books. I was like, okay, I pretty much understand it, and we got it to the table, and maybe half an hour for the first play just to like get a feel for it.
I think the first play might have been a little bit longer because I think we actually had a little bit of shock on this can't be all that is. Like, are we doing this right?
Mm-hmm.
I get again, and it'd be like, yeah, that's all you do.
Yeah.
That's literally kind of what the very, very first game was like that we played. There was a lot of like, really? That's it?
Yeah, I think the only thing that after playing it once that would make you take more time in learning is just switching the factions. Because the factions are unique, and there are different terms in each faction. So, like, Mickey's involved, like, healing and stuff like that. My deck didn't involve that at all. It felt like my deck was just bum rush the field as fast as I could.
But he had a lot of returning cards to himself.
Oh, yeah.
Like reusing the same cards and things like that, if he was able to get the combos out. So again, like you said, you gotta that would be the biggest thing. You switch decks and you're gonna have to learn, how it operates. And the other thing that we haven't done yet, which we did tell you, is that we both used the starter deck in the thing, so you can switch out. And it was interesting to note that it wasn't like, oh, just mix these in. It was, you got to build the same size. You can just take these out. And there's a few other guidelines on like how many champions or whatever you can have, right? Those types of things. But in a nutshell, yeah, that's it. So if you like one-on-one card games, I would highly recommend you give this a shot. It was very, very good and not complex. Like, there's a lot of other card games that we've Like, we didn't even get to record because it went way down on the list when it went out of print. Well, not out of print, but they stopped it. Was Ashes. We were going to do that.
I completely forgot they stopped that. Yeah.
Which was a fantastic game, but another game that, like, there was no support, no nothing. The art was unbelievable. The game was fun. But even that, that was actually more complicated than this.
Oh, yeah.
With the dice manipulation and things like that, if you know what we're talking about. So, definitely, I think this is one of those easy to play, hard to master type of games. And I think that I don't know if they ever plan on making any more factions for it, but with six factions, it wouldn't be that hard to if you're one of those gamers that really gets in and plays the same thing over and over again. It would be interesting once you knew the decks inside and out, playing against somebody that knew the decks inside and out. I have a feeling it would be some pretty intense matches, knowing what, just like any other card game, knowing what you could possibly be playing as opposed to what I have in my hand and my strategies and stuff.
Yeah, because you can change strategies and stuff.
And things like that. Anyways, there's not too much to go on and on about this. I'm definitely glad that I have this in my collection. I would definitely keep this and pull it out when I could, because it's definitely I wouldn't say beginner, but definitely an easier one-on-one battle card game to play. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, and I haven't researched it enough to know if they're even planning on doing any more, or if it's a one-and-done type thing, or what.
I think, if I remember correctly, I want to say that it was that this was the second release of it or something like that, but I could be wrong. But anyhow, yeah, that's it. So Jeb's going to give you the spiel about subscribing to stuff now.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed watching our show, please check out our other videos. We got plenty of other ones. Leave comments if there's any games you want to see us play. Let us know. We're definitely up for trying to get them to the table. If you request it, it gets bumped up higher on the list. If it's a $500 game that neither of us have, it's probably going to the bottom of the list. But
what $500 game don't we have?
I don't know.
You bought the $500 game that we wanted to play.
I know, but maybe another $500 game popped up when I wasn't looking.
Yeah, don't count on us playing Frosthaven.
Oh, yeah. So, check out our Gloomhaven.
We like Gloomhaven, but like with Jeb was away for a little bit, and then the good old coronavirus is upon us, and Jeb and I are breaking the social distancing rules and playing games anyways. So, yeah, I don't know if and when we're going to get back to those episodes, because at this point we're looking at all the stuff that we have, and we've gotten to, since we got out of the groove, we started playing different things, and now we're on the I want to play different things type of thing again. Not to say we won't ever go back, but quite frankly, at this point, it's kind of like, I don't even remember where we were. I mean, kind of remember where we were, but it's like...
Story-wise,
I'm like, oh, so Gary will probably be very sad. But again, that doesn't mean we won't ever. I'm just thinking that we might move on to try to get some of these other games that we have sitting around and stuff that we still have coming in. Jeb has a list, and I have a list, and there's some heavy ones. Maybe not as heavy as Gloomhaven, but there are some heavier ones that we want to get to the table. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's enough rambling about that. So
subscribe if you enjoy the videos and want to see more stuff. That way you get notified when new stuff comes out. We have a Discord, Booze and Boards with Mickey and Jeb. Mickey set that up.
Nobody talks on it.
Yeah, I think we did a little bit, but I haven't checked
We did!
Yeah.
And I think John, one time. And he's talking about something that had nothing to do with games. Okay?
We got Twitter. We got Coffee if you want to support us.
Give us a tip.
Yeah, that will go to
Beer.
No, it'll most likely go to equipment because our setup right now is kind of.
You know what? If we have $24 in there, and a year later we have $24, we're buying a 6-pack. Maybe a 12-pack with $24.
Depending on the brand.
Right? Because we're not buying any equipment,
Yeah.
so you better tip more than $24.
But aside from that, I think that's everything. So, I guess until next time, see ya.
Boards and Booze, Booze and Boards, with Mickey and Jeb.